I love Green Day solos. They are simple and effective, not to mention very kazooable. Today I'm going to show you how to play the 21 Guns solo, one of my favorites to play. I'm also going to show you all the lead parts in the song because they're really cool, and you clicked on this video, so you must be really cool too. Disclaimer, disclaimer, there's a few parts in the song where the lead guitar really just dips under in the mix, and in those instances, I've filled in the gaps to suit my druthers. Here we go. One thing I love about making these videos is it forces me to listen to songs more carefully than I otherwise would. And one thing I didn't even realize was going on in 21 Guns is that intro part. I like to do it on the B string, and we went over it in yesterday's video, but I'll go over it real quick. I like to do it on the B string because I like to slide up and down and all around. 6, 3, 10, 5. That comes back in the second half of the first verse. So the lead guitar player in your Green Day tribute band is going to do that 3 times. And then when he says you're in ruins, 3rd fret. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's not a lead guitar part, so I'm not going to talk about that. Continuing right along in order of appearance, the first chorus has no lead guitar part except for the, which we're going to do on the G string, 9, 10, 12. You could do it on the B string, 5, 6, 8, but if you do it on the G string, you have more space for an epic slide up, which happens in the song. That's your only job in the first chorus for the lead guitar. The first half of the second verse has the same 3 times, but then you do B string 3rd fret just like before, and then 5th fret. The second half of the second verse is exactly the same as the second half of the first verse, where you just hang on the 3rd fret before you, and then you go into the chorus. Your duties have been light thus far, Mr. Lead Guitar Player in the Green Day tribute band, but once we get to the bridge, the Did You Try to Live on Your Own section, you've got some fun stuff to do, and let me orient you first. The chord here is the D power chord, right? And power chords aren't major or minor, but if this was major or minor, it would be minor. And we've got a bar chord right here, that's D minor, right? We're going to grab the B string 6th fret and the G string 7th fret out of that hypothetical D minor chord, and we're going to bounce back and forth between those two, starting on the B string 3 times. Then you hit the B string twice. So. And notice that I'm not just leaving my fingers down because I don't want them ringing out together. This is very different from. Then we're going to do 6-5 twice, and then 5-5 twice. Here's the first line. Of the bridge. The second line starts just the same. Then we're going to have our 6-5, and we're going to do B, G, B, B. And then we're going to swap these two, 5, 6, and do that same pattern, B, G, B, B. So. Love that one. As far as I can tell, the third line is almost exactly the same as the second line, but in that last shape, instead of B, G, B, B, it's just B, 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 so you don't even need to bother with the G string. So. And the fourth line, like a liar looking for forgiveness, we hear that B string 6th fret just ring out, and then that guitar gets totally buried. So I filled it in to fit my druthers, which by the way is a contraction between would and rathers, to go down to the 5th fret. Do da do ba da dee da do da ba da. Now I'll do that whole entire thing for you. That cat's name is Ferguson, by the way. 1, 2, ready, go. now we get to do the solo. To orient you once again, before we begin, the first power chord in the rhythm section of the solo is F, right? And if we take our D shape and we move it up 1 fret, we don't have a D, we have a D shape, but this is really a D sharp, an E and an F would be on frets 5 and 6. This and B, C is the first notes of the solo. So that's where you go when you're wondering where the heck am I supposed to go. F, D, D sharp, E, F. But if you listen real carefully, there's actually a note before that. It's on the A string. We're going to do yet another epic slide up to the 8th fret. I'm going to use my ring finger, and then we're going to make our little NBC. And then the B string goes 8, E5, B6. Is your first chunk. All right, we left off on B string 6th fret with our middle finger. What we're going to do now is bounce back and forth between G7 and B6, B5. Now use your pointer finger for B6 this time because G7, and then we're going to bounce back and forth between D8 and G7. And now we have for the second chunk. Our third chunk is G5, D7, A8, G9, and our doot-doots from the chorus. And now I will do all 3 of those chunks for you before we do the very last part. Ready, go. Do that much twice. And the very, very, very end of the solo is A8, fancy slide up, G7, D8, A8, then our G5, D7, A8 routine from the previous sections, and then you just hang on G9 forever and ever and ever. Here we go, ready, and... The last chorus, unlike the previous 2, has a part that's akin to what happens in the bridge, but just a little different. We're going to have B6 and G5, 5-5, 8-5, then 6-7, 8-5-5, then the thing we just talked about, plus the doot-doots. And you're going to do that line however many times, I think it's 4 times the last chorus happens, and the very last line of the chorus, you're going to do the thing we just talked about, but end on G5, and that is it. And if that's it, then that makes this that. Thank you so much for being here. I hope that was fun and helpful. Good luck, and I will see you next time with more stuff. Goodbye.